Hey, why isn't my land selling? Hi, I'm Chris Thomas, and this is Land Flipping 101, where you can learn how to earn your financial freedom through land investing, even if you're a complete beginner with no experience. Because I'm sharing with you how I am successfully doing it. I've said before, I'm going after larger payoffs and fewer deals. I'm targeting retail values of at least $40,000 with the goal of doubling my investment and earning $20,000 per deal. Then, whenever possible, I'm using simultaneous or double closing strategies to reduce risk. And I'm working on a new offer right now to help you get your land investing business moving forward. I'd like to know, what are the top 3 things that you need most help with, that you need a mentor for? A lot of people have asked me to coach them or to mentor them. So what exactly are you stuck on? Like, if I could make a magical program with all your needs met, what would it have? Hey, Pat Wallace. Hey, Adolfo. I'm glad y'all are here joining me. The key to my success has been consistent daily action. I'm putting the property under contract to purchase with a 6-month closing, and then my contract allows me to market it on the MLS. I line up the closing of both on the same day, and then I simultaneously close with transactional funding at 5% interest usually for just a few hours. I guess it depends on the going rate, but that's my home equity line of credit rate. I'm closing twice because I can earn 100% return on my investment, so there's enough room in the deal to justify the extra closing costs. I love land flipping so much. I love the fact that I can do the whole thing online. I never have to necessarily visit the property. I don't have to fix anything. And, I like to say it fits my lazy lifestyle, but really it's about being home and having the freedom to be working from anywhere I want. It's brought me financial freedom and then some, and I'm so excited about this business that I want you to experience it too. You could totally do it as a side hustle. You could start small or you could go big like I did. I know there's a lot of gurus out there teaching, buy a property for $500, sell it for $15,000 on financing. That's all well and good. That's just a different strategy than what I'm doing. I prefer to just sell for cash for a quick close, and I prefer to get bigger paydays whenever I make a deal happen. All right, so today's topic, why isn't my property selling? But first, let me see if there are any questions in the group. Adolfo says, if I list on the MLS, can I market on Facebook? Well, yes. In fact, that's what this whole conversation today is going to be about. This is all about how to make sure you're marketing your property correctly for a fast sale. So why is it that property doesn't sell? I think I'd say there are 3 reasons. The number one biggest reason that I see people not selling property is that they don't advertise it on the MLS. Now, you don't have to have your real estate license to get or you don't have to even hire an agent to get it on the MLS. But states do have regulations when it comes to buying and selling property and with the MLS. So you do need a broker to put it on the MLS for you. And there are flat fee services out there that can put it on there for you. Now, my contract, which you can get from Land Flipping 101 just in exchange for your email address, you can download my exact 2-page blind offer letter and purchase agreement. And it says that we're allowed to market on the MLS. And it also says that we have 6 months to close and we don't put down any earnest money. Now, listen, in my experience with people I've been working with for the last 6 months or so, the reason why properties are not selling is because they're waiting to put it on the MLS until they feel like they've got everything else understood and figured out. And then there's only a month left on their contract. And that's probably not enough time. You can extend the contract with the seller, but oh my goodness, I'd rather not. I'd rather sell it fast, right? So just as soon as possible, get it on the MLS, get it advertised in the number one place that people are looking for property. And that is the MLS. The second reason why the property's not selling, I think, is because of price. I mean, we can do our comps and we can say, I think it's worth this based on what recently sold, but sometimes you just have to drop the price. Now, we buy the property at 25% of our estimated market value and then sell it at 75%, but we're willing to sell it at 50% of the market value because we're only trying to double our original investment, right? So there's always extra room in the deal for negotiating. So price, if it's been sitting there, I would drop your price. And let's see, the website. I think I would really like to spend some time talking about the website because that's the point from which all of your marketing goes. So by the time you have a property to sell, you want to make sure you have a simple land selling website with the most up-to-date information on that. And you'll be pointing everyone to your website. So from MLS, from the other places that we're going to be talking about. This is where you're going to have complete information on the property. So when you're setting up ads or posts, you'll be copying from your site to create the other ads. You see, you get the site listing perfect with everything it needs, and then everything else comes from there. Even when you're answering the phone to answer questions with buyers, you just go to the website as a reference to get all the information for their questions. Just checking to see if there are any questions. Hi, everybody. Okay, so there's no shortage of third-party websites you can list your land deal on. I mean, I've seen a ton of places where you can list them, but and it's good to be as many places as you can, but there are really just a few main places where the majority of the traffic is. And if you can get your listing up there, you will have success. So everything from Facebook to the MLS. I mean, I see a guy, Paul, in our group a lot promoting land-listings.com. I've not used that one yet, but you could certainly post it there. Land.com would be the third. So MLS, Facebook, land.com. But there are dozens more like that, land-listings.com. So next, I'm just going to show you the ones that I focus on. And the majority of the leads are going to come from these three places: Facebook, MLS, and land.com. So land.com is a group of sites. For those of you that don't know, there's Lands of America, there's Land and Farm, and there's LandWatch. And they say on their website that they connect more than 12 million active buyers and landowners with the best local real estate professionals. And that's a monthly traffic. So that's a huge number of people visiting that collection of sites. And these are premier listings for rural property. So I'm focusing on 5 or more acres. And so that's one of the best places that I'm finding leads. And it's kind of known as the Land Brokers MLS. So it's driving the top search engines. So you're getting visibility. They are driving top search engine traffic for people looking for rural land to their website. So there's lots of visibility and good traffic. And you do need a monthly subscription to post on that site, and that can range anywhere from $150 to $500 a month. So it really depends on how many properties that you have before you want to invest in those bigger packages. And then I also do direct mail. I do direct email. So, I mean, it's good on your website to have a place where you're collecting a buyer's list of emails, like people who are interested in buying property. It could just be a bunch of investors that want to buy your deal because they know it's under market value. And, all right, so let's see. There are free places like MailerLite where you can do direct mail. It's direct email, I should say. And then you want to create a campaign for each property. So as you get the property under contract, you'll notify your buyer's list just as soon as you're ready to go to market. So eventually, this would be a great task to just outsource. All right, so I mentioned the MLS. It's the #1 place interested buyers are looking for property. And it shows up on every realtor's new listing report every day. And it's going to help you sell your properties faster. So it's kind of like an aggregator. So it's sending your listing out to Realtor.com, to Zillow, to Zome, to Redfin, to many, many, many websites that focus on property. And they're all a little bit different, but MLS as the base place to put it is going to aggregate it out to all those other ones. Now, realtors can be your best source for buyers, and they can be the, well worth a 3% commission rate that I gladly pay to any agent who can bring me a buyer. They're going to also help you keep your transaction compliant with state and regulatory agencies. I also think that the title company is good for that. But the commission for them is paid out during the closing and comes out of your net profit. So, it's definitely well worth it if you need help with your marketing, especially in the very beginning. And they can usually get your MLS listing up right away. You don't need a realtor. You really only need to list it with like a flat fee service. But as far as, selling it, there's nothing wrong with using a agent in the beginning. A lot of the stuff that the agents do, though, we do, like all the marketing, we just do ourselves. So there's no need to hire an agent unless you're just really, really lost. So I'm going to talk about some of the other things that we do. So the flat fee service is the listing agent, and they just treat it like a for sale by owner. So this means that I would take all the calls and handle all the paperwork myself, but they do have the state regulated reporting duties regarding the sale of the property. So you will be required to keep them posted on any changes with the listing, like if you get it under contract and so it's pending, they need to mark it pending in the MLS, or when it closes, they need to be able to report that right away. So after the MLS, the second most important place where I market mine is Facebook Marketplace, or just Facebook in general, because there's Marketplace and then there's groups also. It's Facebook is probably the largest source of leads we get after MLS. And there's two important things to do when advertising on the Marketplace, and most people only know about one of them, but obviously, you want to create a free listing on Marketplace just using the easy wizard tool, and make sure that your listing is telling a story both in word and pictures. Include the price of the property, and make sure to include the subject property zip code so that the ad will populate in the right geographic area, especially if you don't live in that area. Every time you edit that ad, you need to update the zip code. It's super important because otherwise they'll default to your personal zip code and show that ad to people in your area instead of where the property is. Okay, so the next step would be to go out and join relevant buy-sell groups in the geographic area where the property is located. And it'll take a day or two to be accepted into those groups. So just remember what I've always said, it's consistent daily action. You're just doing a little bit of this every day. And you don't want to miss a day on Facebook. Usually there's like some kind of a questionnaire and some rules you have to agree to. So just take note of the rules and be sure to comply with them. I keep a little spreadsheet so that I can keep track of which group I posted for which property, so that I'm not trying to put it in there. And then I'll include what the rules are so I know, how to word my ad. And then there's also national and local groups to join. So when you enter a search phrase into Facebook, click on the groups tab. That way you can find relevant groups a little bit faster. So like if you're trying to buy property in Dallas, then make sure you're looking at, Dallas real estate investors or Dallas buy-sell groups. Search for land for sale and be sure to like Dallas land for sale, look for groups like that. Just helps you narrow down the group and then start requesting to be entered, and then or to be admitted, and then you can start posting into the group. So later, when you're accepted, then you come back and get your Marketplace ad posted into that group. Hope that makes sense. All right, so just think about the different types that you may want to target and who the end buyer is. So like if they're a recreational buyer, like if your property is really good for recreational land, like let's say it doesn't have a perk site and you're trying to make it a place for people to go camping or ride ATVs, you're looking for Dallas recreational land or something like that as your keyword. Buy-sell trade groups are also great. I see in some cities I've seen up to 40,000 members, and so when you post in there, you get a lot of visuals.